Oh, it's time. Time to get radical.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Radical Comment of the Week for May the 31st through June the 6th, 2021. These are the very best comments from that time period. Starting out with the honorable mentions, we have Juliet India Mobile, Abel Diaz Urbina, and Rusty Shackelford. The bronze medal comes to us from Heavy Metal Gamer Show. I see this a lot in music, especially metal, where they wear t-shirts as a fashion statement. They have no or little clue on who the band is or so on, and it's ridiculous. I don't wear shirts of a band just to look cool. I do it because I like the band. I enjoy their music. I own some of their music, maybe even see them live at one point. One time, about 5 or so years ago, a coworker of mine who is a cool guy, but to this day, I wanted to kick him in the teeth, laugh out loud. He was wearing a shirt from the band The Misfits. So I said to him, "Hey man, nice shirt. You a fan? Got a favorite album? Who was the better vocalist, Glenn Danzig or Michael Graves?" He said, "Oh no, I don't listen to them. This is my brother's shirt." All I said was, and just ended the conversation there. I've seen this other times. I was at a party one time. There was about 35 people there. Seen someone wearing a shirt of the band Venom, a band that I am a huge fan of. I asked him, "Badass shirt." He said, "Thanks." I said, "One of those bands on my bucket list, love their albums." He said, "Oh, I thought this was just some design of the comic book character from Spider-Man." I asked where he bought it from. He said some site on Facebook. After that, I walked away, laugh out loud. I wanted to call him every name in the book. I think we all have that moment, Heavy Metal Gamer Show, where we come across a situation to where you see someone wearing, it could be a band shirt, could be, maybe a character from an anime or a comic or, TV show, or maybe some obscure. And you're like, hell yeah, man. It's a great band. And then they look at you and then you're like, well, maybe I shouldn't ask a follow-up question. But you do. You're like, hey, what's your favorite album? And then they just have a blank and they stare at you. Or it's one of these females now that wear these Nirvana shirts, right? Nirvana shirt, a Pearl Jam shirt, or whatever is fashionable. And that's just like such a weird trend. And, my apologies. I have Office on in the living room. It's loud. But I really don't care. I'm not going to get up and change that. Screw that. But yeah, or if it's an Office shirt, someone wears a shirt for The Office. You're a big fan of The Office. See how I just worked that in? And it has the character that really well, that's really not saying a lot, the nerdy character. The guy with the glasses and everything. I forget his name. The really crazy, nutty dude. And somebody wears an Office shirt, and you ask, hey, what's your favorite episode with him? What's the craziest, what's the nuttiest thing, or your favorite episode with him? Or do you remember that time? And then they stare at you with a blank. I'm like, what's the whole point of wearing something? You're putting on a shirt for something that you don't care about or know nothing about. I just don't get the point in that. Thank you, Heavy Metal Gamer Show. Next up with the silver medal, we got Remember the Great Sports. I've always said, do what you enjoy to do. I have many different types of videos on my channel. Although most are only sports related, I throw in a couple episodes with video games and comic books every now and again. I sometimes like to throw those into my catalog, so to speak, to keep myself loose. On a weekly basis, I post a video every week about my autograph returns. As of me typing this, I have posted that video series for the last 180 straight weeks. I enjoy doing those type of videos, but to be honest, it seems to get to be unoriginal, as I have watched many of this platform imitate my work. Just as you have people who imitate what you do, I try to put on my thinking cap and come up with original content only to have made only I have made. Sometimes videos I spend hours on perfecting with research and editing get barely any views, but my bread and butter weekly series, which took less effort, gets more. I don't get discouraged though, as I'll remind myself this is only for fun. So in closing, if you want to do sports videos, you do sports videos. Do whatever your creative outlet speaks to you. Yeah, that's pretty much like a mindset that I kind of used to have. I would say before maybe 2019, when I kind of, blew up as far as being a guy who still to this day is against a lot of e-begging on the platform. and a lot of people, my messages resonated with people. My common sense message to, hey, why would you give money to these idiotic YouTubers? Like, why? Why does it make any sense whatsoever? And there's no problem with that. Of course, like you said, some of your uploads can get like unoriginal after time. Well, yeah, it can get, especially after years and years and years. There's really no way to do anti-stupidity uploads. I'll just call it anti-stupidity because, you can say anti-e-begging, but it's anti-stupidity. There's no way to do anti-stupidity uploads and have it be original and then keep that up for several years. I think out of anyone that I've seen attempt it, I do the best in trying to keep it as original as I possibly can. But, there's no way past you get to a certain point. It's not exactly the biggest conversations of our time. I can sum it up pretty easily in one sentence. Don't give money to YouTubers. That shit's stupid, right? So I take that one thought, that one concept, and stretch that shit out. Like want to review Take USA's pairs of undies. I stretch that shit out, and I do my best with it. But then I got a different catalog. I got my comment response shows. I got the show off Saturday. I got a lot of different things I do to kind of just kind of keep myself loose. Like you, just kind of keep myself loose. And the gold medal, the shiny gold medal, comes to us from Tadruzas. Someone on one of Cody, Camelot331's, latest videos mentioned that if each of Camelot331 subscribers donated 10 cents, he'd have the money in no time. While he's mathematically correct, that's still a sad statement to make. It's as if watching his videos isn't enough. I replied to that comment with, if each one of his subscribers watched 30 or so of his videos, he'd also get that money from ad revenue. Based on a pretty basic standard, if a bit generous, $5 per 1,000 views. If 100K subs, he has 150K subs now, I think. Watched 30 videos with no ad blockers on, the ad revenue itself would pay for the repairs. Bottom line is, Cody needs to make more quality, if nothing but entertaining content, for a while, or people go back and watch older videos. Which, if you pay attention to his videos over the past year and a half or so, his voice and accent have become more and more, "Aw shucks, doggone it, gummer pile esques," over time. Next, I always heard the old saying, if you can afford a Corvette, you can afford the maintenance. As in, you wouldn't buy a car that you couldn't afford to maintain or fix when the time comes. It's very dubious that Cody has the car, the tires, the truck to tow it with, the trailer to tow it in, but not the means to repair the damage? Considering he no doubt gets a good deal of revenue from videos, pretty decent amount of super chats during streams, as well as having a Patreon, now throwing out a GoFundMe actually has me pretty upset about the fact that I sub to his channel, watch a portion of most of his streams, and have in the past sent a few super chats. What a grift. Finally, perhaps we could all use a lesson about basic budgeting here. My monthly budget has line item for savings, as well as I have 9 to 12 months of expenses in an emergency fund saved up in case something unthinkable happens. I also budget for projects around the house, car maintenance, and insurance, etc. When those budget items don't get fully spent or spent at all, they go into a sinking fund for future use. So if I have $200 a month allotted for projects around the house, but I don't spend any money on projects for 6 months, I have $1,200 to spend on projects I want or need. Likewise, I pay my car insurance every 6 months in full, so I just budget 1/6 of the total car insurance cost every month. Perhaps Cody could take a lesson from learning to budget all that money in case he needs it to fix something in case it breaks. Well, I can't kind of let this go unnoticed here. You said you sub to his channel, watch his streams, and have in the past sent a few super chats. You subbed, you watch his streams, and you sent some super chats. It just kind of shocks me, And it doesn't take away from you being a gold medalist. This is I would say the best comment of that week, right? And I'm not going to subtract. That is a little stupid, though. I'll just say that. I'm just getting that out of the way. You probably don't want to do that anymore because it's kind of stupid. Okay? It's a situation where, like, you were like, well, maybe he's not that bad of a guy, doggone it, and I'll donate some super chats. Just in general, I mean, it's just stupid. Take that money, put it in your pocket, or, actually donate to a, good charity. That's what I'll say to that. But budgeting, yeah, budgeting. You said, and I love this, if you can buy the Corvette, you can afford the maintenance. Well, not everybody can afford things they buy. Not everybody, but I get what you're saying. Most people, if you buy the McLaren, if you buy the Ferrari, if you buy these cars, and you have a general idea, I'm making well enough to where when these things break down, I can afford to fix them, right? You mentioned all the revenue and all the ways and all the means that Cody has made money. Actually got some money from you, so he is awash in money. There is no need for the GoFundMe. No need whatsoever for that GoFundMe. He says he feels gross. He should feel gross that he's doing all these other things as well. He should have felt gross before that. But even that's like a play because he wants to be like, oh, I feel gross. I don't know if I should be, And then there's the defenders that actually come in White Knight that. But budgeting, you said he needs to budget. I don't know if it's a situation where he needs to budget. He just needs to quit fucking e-begging is what he needs to do.